Justice Laura. You want to lead us in a prayer?
Be glad to. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day. We thank you for the privilege that we have to work with the city. We ask you to help us make good decisions. We pray for all that are gathered here. Ask that you be with them and with their families. Keep them healthy and well. In Jesus' name.
Amen. We have the leak adjustments. Were you guys able to look them over and sign them?
Everyone.
Yay, that's good. The minutes approval from September the 11th, 25.
Yes.
And let's see, we have a Riverview restaurant adjustment. So we own the building. Here's this paper. We own the building and there was a leak on the side of the city, which really doesn't matter because both sides are the city. So we were going to adjust off the sewer portion of that and pay the water.
Pay the difference in the water.
And the taxes, because we owe the state taxes on the water. So we averaged it out. They had a faulty meter, and so we never really got a good read on them, and I don't think they ever got a fair water bill. And then so we just took, since the new meter went in, what was going to be, we just averaged it out. We figured out what it was going to be for the 7 days, and then we figured it out for the months. So do I have a motion to accept to pay the water portion and the taxes for the Riverview restaurant? Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. We have Mr. Commonwealth.
It's called worse.
I don't believe that.
Okay, first thing I have is pay application number 12 for the wastewater treatment plant project. It covers work from August 26th through September 25th. Primarily still working on concrete. They're about done with concrete out there. They're on some of the smaller structures now. Most everything's done on big tanks. Electrical works proceeding along pretty well. Actually starting to do some painting and piping work out there. So they're making pretty good progress. They have approached us about a time extension because some of the SBR equipment is looking like it's not going to be here until December. And there's a lot of work that has to be done after that equipment's here and installed. Can't do till it's in. So we're still working with them on that. Some of that I think is probably legitimate, but some questions
Okay.
to go through on that. But not formally requesting any kind of time extension or anything right now. But just kind of want to make you guys aware that's going on. So with that, I would offer pay application number 12 for approval. It is for $748,203.29.
Do I have a motion to send this to the council?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Then we have the lead line agreement.
Yeah, lead line agreement. So this is the lead service line replacement project. The city applied to the SRF for funding for that, received about $2 million in grant money. So very, very much better than what we thought it was going to be, quite honestly. There was also a small, like $190,000, I think, 0% interest loan that goes along with that. The thought process behind the loan with them was if there's things you run into during the course of the project that don't fit in the specific guidelines of the grant, then you've got some money to use to address those things while you're out there. So we do need to get started right away. So I've got our agreement before you tonight. We have to bid the project by March of next year. There's quite a bit of work to be done to get it ready. Essentially, the project's going to be a lot of investigation work, where they're going to be potholing, looking for lead service lines on both sides of the meter, and then as they discover them, replace them. So we actually study a bigger area than we think we're going to be able to do, just to make sure we can use up all the money. Because if they go through there and they're not finding a lot of lead to replace, that lets us look at other areas. So we kind of look at a broader area. So our services are for full design, bidding, construction, inspection services to do that for that. This agreement's for $499,400, and we ask for it, and it will all be paid out that grant.
Okay. Do I have a motion to send to council? Do you have a second? All in favor? Aye. Oh, and I need a motion to sign again. Oh, the council have me sign. Never mind. Okay, we have some lovely people from St. Bernard.
My name is Tara Lloyd, and I'm here to represent St. Bernard. We are here with a proposal, or possibly a request, to talk about the permanent closure of a part of Pearl Street. As you know, the St. Bernard campus is split by Pearl Street. The north side of our property has the church, the school, the playground. South side has our lower grounds where we have our summer social, other parish events. The school utilizes it for various school events with the school kids during the day throughout the school year. I know for some of the larger events, they come and they actually request a temporary closure of the road. For others, I know we've had before, the teachers and staff just have to be very diligent getting the kids back and forth across during the day with traffic going through. This is safety driven. We want to be able to utilize the lower grounds without the concern of both foot traffic and vehicular traffic. We are applying for a grant. The school is that the school or the parish? Same thing. Okay. School and parish, they are applying for a grant for some safety features, which would include fencing around the campus. And what we're wanting to do is make the campus the split of the public road going through the middle of it. But to be able to put that fencing all the way around and keep that out, you would have to have the closure of that road. We've talked about, do you see on the map where that red area is kind of just sketched in there, where the road would end, right there, kind of to the entrance of that parking lot that we have there on the side of Pearl Street. It could be a cul-de-sac. It could be where we talked about putting gates on each end, both where 6th Street intersects and then here where this red line is, that the school could possibly open and close if needed. For future expansion of things we may do, again, to increase safety for getting people into and out of the school building, if we wanted to look towards permanently closing it and having that cul-de-sac there to where the rest of that roadway cutting through doesn't exist, that's just stuff we want to talk to you about. So we want to get your thoughts, your feelings, what our next step need to be to pursue this. Like I said, this is a safety driven thing because we have all this property down here, and right now it's constant back and forth. It's constant back and forth between, crossing a road with kids from age, what, 3? Preschool? Kids age 3 to 14. So wanted to get your thoughts.
Okay.
Initial thoughts. I mean, we don't expect you to act on this today. We're not asking you to say, hey, yeah, sure, go do, we're looking for next steps. What are our next steps as far as going forward? Who would take the lead? If this is something you approve, is this something that the city would take the lead on? Is there more information you need from us, to move forward on this? We're just looking for some leadway from you all to know what our next steps need to be to pursue this closure of Pearl Street.
I feel like Chris Wisher would probably have most of those answers.
Or if you have any questions, I'm here.
Some of the answers. So from a legal standpoint, we're talking about a vacation of.
You're right. That portion of the platted road to be vacated.
There's a process
Yes.
we'll have to go through.
You have to have a public hearing.
Petition, it's ordinance, there's public
Hearings.
There's notice to
Right.
surrounding folks.
All landowners.
Yeah, and so we'll need a description. Generally get a survey description of the area to be vacated. Probably ought to have a plan for the guest. I don't know, about the street standard on the cul-de-sac, but I would think if there's a dead end road, you would.
Yeah.
You just seen it, or you guys think that those are things we can work out in the meantime, because it's gonna be a process we're gonna have to go through.
Right. And I guess that was one of the questions. And again, we're throwing this at you, so it may be something that you want to mull over. We come back, but do you have a preference? I mean, as far as if it's completely vacated and a cul-de-sacs put there? Or is it more of where we talked about barricades on both ends that the school could open when needed, and keeping in mind, we talked about emergency services and things like that and where they, would be able to access both the school. And I mean, obviously you have to get the cul-de-sac so that that whole area of Pearl Street where you have people living there, emergency services still have access to them. But like I said, this is as much fact finding on our part as far as where you stand. What do you need from us to keep this moving forward in a timely fashion? And what can we do? So I have, a survey showing what we're looking at vacating.
Yeah,
And
and I actually probably need to look and see, I know there are statutes that give been through this process a few times in different places. And so sometimes the statute, I don't know that Rockport has ordinance, there could be some additional steps as to what's needed, but generally, notifying utilities and making sure whether there are any utilities in the right of way.
Right.
But I can look and find out what the process is and get that to
Yeah,
the mayor, and then she can get that to you guys. We can
I was
figure out
gonna
what
pull
that
some
is.
ordinances that
Okay.
have that happened before, but it was
This is
last minute. I threw it on him this morning,
Right,
so.
right.
utilities, there are utilities.
Under the road.
right-of-way Reserve easements.
For them.
Utilities, fire hydrants. Anything that's out there that we need to make sure.
Right.
we're Keeping rights. to,
Yeah.
And that's just to get it in front of the council, ultimately, I think it would hear the recommendation and then.
To the council. That's kind of what I thought. I
And
said.
there'll be a public hearing, and so I'm just talking
Fire
about what
hydrant
we
on
need to do
6th
to get it in
Street.
front of them, whether they. not that-
Right.
Yeah, there is a fire hydrant on 6th Street across from the school, but there's not one in that portion of Pearl Street. But again, I'm certain there are utilities along under the roadway there.
Who would want to have it?
We have to have a
So I
locate.
didn't know what your process has been in the past and how often it's come up. I think you want to run this by, once you get it, run it by your internal police, fire. To make sure, if you've got it from a utility standpoint, to make sure there aren't any issues that address the issues. I've had this situation where right away was vacated. And the utility easements weren't reserved, and then 10 years later, you had a problem.
Something getting
Right.
done.
So we just want to make sure we, if it gets down and council's in favor of it, that we just make sure we check boxes. Fully vetted.
Okay, so for our next steps, we can probably get a locate done. And then, okay, and then we have a site survey.
You
Okay,
can get a description of the vacated.
Description of the vacated area.
The area of the road that would be vacated.
Okay.
And then, I think we ought to look at what's going to be necessary in there.
you might need some, well, like I said, there might be right away that has to be purchased to make that cul-de-sac work.
I mean, that's one.
I haven't looked how
Is there
wide
enough-
that
There's
is.
enough right away there for a cul-de-sac.
If not, if you're purchasing, yeah.
There's some things like that that ought to be looked at, and some of that probably ought to be vetted before it actually gets filed, and we ought to have all that.
Okay.
Nailed down, but I can get the process, and look and see, and I know Brian's filed the ordinance, let's see what the petition forms and things like that. I can get all that together.
Okay.
We'll create them. You may have some. It's my first vacation here.
Is there anything I forgot?
Vacation.
From either?
Vacation.
I want to take a vacation.
Okay, do you guys have any
Do
other
you
questions?
have
And I asked if I
questions?
forgot anything. I know I talk fast and I go through things pretty quickly,
Mm.
so.
Do you have any questions about it? Or feelings or anything you
Well,
want to ask?
But I know that we'll have to have the people who live on that.
Oh, you'll have to have a public hearing for sure, yeah.
Public hearing.
Yeah.
So
They'll have to get notified.
I'm good with letting my attorney take care of it.
Okay.
And we'll also talk in front of the council in case they have any questions and everybody can sit on it. And
Right.
see, it's a big decision.
Right,
My life. Does it.
Correct. correct. Yeah, we're not cutting it off from, a remainder of Pearl Street going somewhere else.
Past.
Just those houses down there,
School wouldn't be able to go to 6, they'd have
go out to 5th Street.
beyond that.
Pretty sidewalk though.
So
Correct.
they own
Yeah.
everything.
Like I said,
we're
our
gonna do.
property lines are offset there, but I mean, yes, so that, again, that has to be worked out, and I know, like I said, you'd have to establish the size of the cul-de-sac. Like I said, so emergency service, you turn around and is there enough right of way there, or would right of way buying play on this, so. Like I said, before
Okay.
we got in too deep, we wanted to get a feel for, is this something that we can maybe keep talking about, maybe move forward on a little bit?
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
So-
if you want to hang around and tell the council too.
okay, again,
Okay, thank you. Next we have Miss Kat Maroon.
Hi, here. For all Rockportians, no, there's a lot of old trees in this town. I love trees, and I think that's why people want to move here to be in town. Because there's such pretty trees, whatever. There are dangers with these trees. I have a house on Washington that's built in 1886. I pulled it apart, took all the bad wiring out, all the plumbing, put brand new, it's up to code, it's gonna be safe, and it's twice the size as when I got it, but still keeping that feel of old. The tree in front was built on the easement. Well, it was there. The easement created and took the tree with the sidewalk. I don't know why they took that side of the north side of the street to create a sidewalk, because my doorstep is on the sidewalk. The other houses across the street have 30 feet till their door, but whatever. This tree is a 200-plus-year-old tree, pecan, hardwood. I've had, at my expense, a true tree risk assessment arborist. He used to teach at the school around here for the arborists and stuff, but you have to have a separate license or certification to be a risk assessment tree arborist. He came out, I paid him to come from Evansville, and the
Yep.
mayor met him, and he did the assessment of the tree. He said, obviously, I can't assess the branches up top because I don't have a lift. He was on foot, but he gave a full report, and I do have a copy of his assessment. I gave the mayor a copy also, if you want to see it. My request is, I want to make that house not only safe for someone to live in, and they're like, well, how are you gonna make money doing this with the electric and all that? And I said, well, look, it's on my watch. No one will die in that house because I was lazy wanting to make money. Now, I'm not saying all people do that, but $3 more is not worth it to me. I will pay $130 more to make sure whoever buys that house, it's an investment for their family and they're going to be safe. However, this pecan tree, now I've trimmed it when I had a bucket to do the siding and all the changes, even the windows I took out were, you had to put your knuckles on the floor to open them, and they were 6-foot windows on the second floor. I took them out. That's unsafe. Everybody's, well, how can you afford to sell and make money? It's not that. It's building a safe house with integrity. Same with my street. This tree is beautiful. I don't want to lose it. And I had somebody check it. He says, if you trim it, it should be fine. But the problem is, I had the company that he suggested was Allegiance that could do this stuff. And they were 1 block away trimming trees last week. And I had him come over and I said, please come look. What can you do? Because he says you have to trim it unbalanced. You can't just take off one side. And this is his information, his lettering. The bottom line is I have a 35-foot tree going this way, straight out, looming over the house. I don't want to do all this work and then have to put insurance in and rebuild it. Are you kidding me? I've been on this house 6 years. So I'd like to finish it, sell it intact, and not have threats of bad wind, where there have been big limbs just fall, not even with severe wind, and stab the ground and just barely miss the porch. So he explained to me, you got a 35-foot tree growing over the lines, a 35-foot tree growing over your house, a 35-foot tree growing over the street. Pecan is extra dense wood. It's extra heavy. If that falls, somebody dies. It's not a matter of, oops, well, let's get the windshield fixed on the car. No, you better buy a coffin. So with that said, I don't want the bedrooms in that house in danger. I don't want the school buses that go by every day or the moms that walk their buggies from the Terry Davis Center. They get this choo-choo train of little kids going by. They walk every day. And if something can just snap and fall with no wind, now obviously in a tornado, anything can happen. But when you have, I can't cut my limb off because it will make it lean this way. I've been monitoring the lean every single week. He put some screws in and he said, use this level. I synced it with his and I've been measuring it. It moved a little bit in March, I think, but like by 2 degrees. It went from 9.2 to 9.4 lean, but it's been at 9.4 now for a long time. But he said the cure to all of that and to keep it there is to trim it. I can't just pay and have mine cut because it's going to make it lean. And so with the people involved, Centerpoint, I don't know if you've spoken to them yet, but if that comes down, it's going to take down all their lines. And probably with the weight of it, it might even take the pole down across the street. So they have an interest in fixing it. I have an interest in fixing it, and I'm sure you people do too. AT&T does, but I guess they don't care. AT&T is weird. But the bottom line is there are threats, and he said that if the city would work with me and take down their side, maybe we get Centerpoint to help take down their side, or maybe whatever, we can take it down and remove it. $1,000 for me, $1,000 for y'all. And I'm happy to pay it because I don't want people to die. Who makes money? Why is the world turned into money all of a sudden? It turns into, I'm proud I built you something solid. It'll be here another 100 years, but not when there's 35-foot tree. Literally, I never thought of it as that, but he said that whole branch is like a 35-foot tree. If it falls, nothing's going to exist under it. And it's right over bedrooms. So I'm like, no, we can't take a chance. And I don't want to take a chance, and I don't want to see a school bus kid hit. I won't see anybody hit, bicycle or anything. So they told me that if you guys help and you come in on it with me, they will charge me $1,000 and you $1,000, and that's it. But we have to, between me and my little 21-foot trailer and you and maybe your truck, can pull all the stuff they cut to your burn pile. He would knock off the $500. Otherwise, it's $2,500 for both of us. And I said, well, I'm going to use my 21-foot trailer. I'd be going 100 times, but I mean, I'm happy to help. But this is both of our problems. I know there's a lot of trees around here, and I'd love to come up with a comprehensive suggestion of what you can do to make all the big trees safe so you don't have to cut them down. Because I think that's why people come here. They love living here in the trees, Russell, when they take a walk. But you can't just cut them down. If the answer was to cut the whole thing down, $6,500. Not a good option. Plus, the whole idea is keep the beautiful trees. Where are you going to go? You can't even go to Evansville and get a whole area of trees. There are a few, but not many.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did reach out to Centerpoint, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet. He was going to drive by and see if it was a concern for their lines that runs through. Did you bring a picture of it?
I can give you a picture. I mean, it's right on Washington Street at 727 Washington, big pecan tree out in front. Don't touch the screws. They were sprayed it on the sidewalk side. There's 2 screws, about shoulder height that the arborist put in, and I spray painted them to see if anybody was pilfering with them, but nobody's noticed or anything. But those are the things I measure the tilt on. And when there's a big storm, I mean, a branch could fall. But when you have a 35-foot tree out each side, that's crazy. I mean, it's dangerous. So if you can help me, I would appreciate it. But I'm tied. My hands are tied in saving my house because the other side has to be cut too. It has to be in balance so that the tree can keep growing. And the guy actually told me if he can do it in November, that's the best time for the tree life. I don't know the science of trees, but to trim it during November is the best time, so it will keep its strength and growing and staying strong. I'm from Miami. What do I know?
Yeah.
But he could explain it to you better. If you
Okay.
need a better explanation.
I feel like we're just starting a tree and sidewalk board. And we have gotten some members announced, that will help decide that.
Oh, him? Pick me. But I was a law student, so I have a lot of
Yeah.
detail-oriented skills if you need it.
Chris, do you feel like this should go to the tree board and then they can determine whether or not?
That might be the process.
Okay.
I mean, Steve, chance to look over everything. Now, Larry Kaplan did the.
Yeah,
Yes.
Everybody knows the area.
she met him.
I've worked with Larry.
Okay.
over the years, quite a bit. So, definitely knows what he's talking about. I'd be concerned if it's truly is a risk situation, a danger tree, then something needs to be done. If we could get into the weeds on the city's obligations within the right of way. I don't know, the city always has the right to do some things, not necessarily an obligation. However, it's a danger, and you don't, and you're on notice of it, and something happens, there could be liability.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
yes, on that, I did give a full copy of the report to my insurance
Okay.
guy the day that he came. I'm sorry, I gotta cover my butt.
So yeah, we should look at it.
Okay.
We take it to the board and. see.
Okay. So I need to get a board meeting called with them.
Need volunteers to help you with that. I will after this, or if I'm
Okay.
conflict with it, I won't be on it now, but I
Yeah.
can help you later.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Mayor, do we have?
I gave them a copy, but she asked me to bring it,
Okay.
and I came at 4:30, but you guys had already started.
Right.
I'd be happy to. I'll
Yep.
leave. If I stay, will you make him a copy?
Yes. Absolutely.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
It looks like we're not gonna have time, but, we'll get a copy before you leave tonight, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. So the water department came and approached me and they have an old truck that used to be Don Woolen's. I don't even know what, it's a 1980 something, I think. And then they have the old police truck that, has quite a few on it, miles, and just, it has some problems. And so he was wanting to know if he had the opportunity to look around for a newer used water truck that has some kind of tool box on the side. Because right now they have to climb up in the back of the bed to get to all their tools. So they just wanted permission to start looking and then bring it back, to the council if they found something. Yes. Do you guys want to
He'll
send,
bring it back to us.
Yeah.
He'll
if you guys approve that it's okay to start looking? Okay, do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Will the council have to approve that too? Since they're the money people?
The money.
Okay. We have a Mulzer settlement agreement. If you want to just briefly,
On the sewer project, or the station. The station project, it's been discussed a number of times that there was it's a property and shown for that. And we actually application actually. And then after that, they agreed to settle and sign the easement and the deed in exchange for the amount of the original offer that was made based on appraisals. I think that's more money. And so we have that settlement agreement that simply provides that they're agreeing to the original offer, agree to transfer the property. I have the documents already signed in my office, deed and the easement. And the city agrees to pay $20,900, which again was the appraisal that was done more than a year ago. And they've agreed to that. So it all worked out. It's like we wanted.
yay.
So we're happy to use this great.
We also have a pickleball pay application. He's going to talk about that. The pickleball. Okay.
On the pickleball pay application.
Mhm.
So you have a pay application. I have. Thank you for doing that. Sorry, that's my fault. It's been a whole week. So you have we have a pay application for your pickleball construction contract. And the amounts that are paid, the current payment due is $122,774.53. Balance to finish, including the retainage of $60,036.50.
Okay,
That must become long,
it is.
well,
I think we just have to surface it.
pay application to
Do I have a motion to send that to council?
make motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll say.
All in favor? Aye. And we plan on having a ribbon cutting on October the 27th at 11 a.m. So whoever can be there for that. October 27th, yes,
Like time,
yes.
And we didn't get it on the agenda.
Okay,
It's okay. to bring
yeah,
it up.
absolutely.
So this is related, this construction contract for the lighting for the pickleball court, that is a separate project. That is entirely funded with donations, but those donations are being routed through the city, and because it's on city property, it's a city contract. However, because it's not public fund, it's not considered a public works project. The city is, we have a construction contract ready to go with KC Electric. They did one of the earlier projects this year to install lighting at the pickleball courts. The total amount of this contract is $53,700. And the timing on it is a little bit up in the air for a number of reasons. Looks like they're going to want to do some groundwork in the fall before it gets too cold, and then the lights will come in January. Maybe some other things that may change. So we'd like it to be approved, and we think this the council also would like to approve with the caveat that there can be a couple of minor changes that we may need to make that authorize us to move forward in that manner.
Do I have a motion to accept what Chris just said? Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, I guess we're ready to adjourn. It's cornbread time.
yes.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.